Library Trustee meeting to order, August 27th. It's 7:07. We do have a quorum. And we have the minutes from last month. Has everyone had a chance to read them?
Yes.
Any changes, comments?
No changes.
Office disabilities. Accept a motion to accept the minutes.
Second, Dave?
Or you move it?
I'll move, so moved.
Because I can't move, right?
You stay.
Need a
Do I have a
second.
second?
Oh, yeah, I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Just sign here, Justin.
Yes, please.
Agenda again?
Next is treasurer's report.
Treasurer's report is next.
Yeah, if you go through, it's like the bold bullets.
Oh.
Because this is the agenda just with all the crap
All the
packed in.
stuff added. All right. Report.
So first you'll see the account balances as they are right now, including the vouchers that Dawn just signed. Everything's kind of on track, ticking along for where we would expect in the fiscal year. Not a lot has happened. We have spent $108 on historical books out of the Mona account. Donations, we've taken in $482. Spent $30.67 from the Gene Cola sci-fi books that was donated in his memory, and we've taken in $75.19 in book fees. As of the last meeting, we didn't know exactly how much interest we had earned in the fiscal year 2019 on the accounts. The final numbers on that was that the trust fund earned $39.77 in interest. The R.S. Douglas Fund earned $152.16. And the building donations with interest earned $9.90. And those amounts are just reflected in the opening balance of those accounts on the little graph above it, the chart, the table. Thank you. That's the word I'm looking for, the table. Any questions on that before?
I didn't know the trust fund earned interest.
I didn't realize it did either, but it did.
Well, that's
I
nice.
think it makes sense for a trust fund, right?
Well, it wasn't ever a trust fund. They just, the
that's the
accountant
trust fund.
before Gene came in,
Mm-hmm.
he's a guy, and they know nothing. And he decided it was a trust fund.
Okay.
So he called, it used to be state aid.
Wish we could make all the library incentive grant money trust fund.
Well, yeah, it used to be, I mean, municipal, Mass Municipal Association. So, no, Mass Municipal something or other, it's a bank. But that's where this trust fund is getting the interest from. The other is Bartholomew, but they, the town accountant won't put this money into Bartholomew. But it's the Mass Municipal, which I can't remember the last part of it, but it's a interest-bearing account.
MMA.
No, it's not MMA, it's just MM something or other.
Yeah.
Any
So,
questions?
oh, sorry.
Where's
on
this
the
chart for the
following
treasurer's
page
report?
is this thing that's just for fun.
What program made this chart?
It's a program called Sankey-Matic. You can find it online, but it's kind of a pain in the butt to input the data. Because for each line, each node, you have to have like bracket the incoming amount and then the account and then bracket the outgoing amount and then a color code and then an opacity code. But I was sick, I think, one day. And I love seeing these
It
graphs.
looks really cool.
Whenever I see them online, so I wanted one for the
should frame
library.
I don't have a lot of walls on library.
So it shows kind of, the sources of cash.
Last fiscal years, okay. So this is FY '19.
Yeah, this is FY19. So this was the money for the entire fiscal year of FY19. The source is the first node, and then the second node is kind of the category. So like the municipal budget has the personnel appropriation, the operational appropriation, and then the appropriation that was the pre-override appropriation, which, that would have been our budget, $2,701. And all of that kind of goes into blue, and then you can see, how much of that pie got divvied out to full-time, part-time, salaries, CWMRs, downloadables, books. And then, you can also see where other stuff has come in to augment it. So like the Friends of the Library. They spent $4,620.99 on the library this year. The vast majority of that went into programming. So since that didn't go into like a separate account, then it kind of skips that node. It skips the account node. And so like you can see that the vast majority went to programming, and then that kind of goes back up into that compensation filter at the very end. So you can kind of like see where the money ends up at the very end, because that's money we paid individuals to come do programming. And then you've got the grant money we took in purple, but then the green communities grant money turns green. Because it didn't actually technically come to us, it went to the town and became capital money. So add that to, the town meeting security article, where, we got $9,800 in the free cash transfer. We got the capital budget from the town this past year of $114,818. Which then you can see went to the weatherization project, to the hyperheat installation, the security installation, and then, goes back into the facilities.
I thought we paid for the security.
Nope. We paid for
For
the,
Eagle. Eagle service.
the subscription to the monitoring service. They paid for the installation.
Okay.
I mean, technically we paid for it, but the money was transferred into our accounts at that fall town meeting. Whenever we voted the Article 7, I think it was the article. Then you can see the library grant money coming in, and then it's added to the equity we already had because the state grant money that carried over from last year. And you can, we spent some of it. You can follow the little line up to downloadables, which is part of our total circulating materials budget, and then some of it went to books, which is also part of our total circulating materials. And then the opening balances is just all the various accounts of money coming in. Then it parses out to the accounts it actually belongs to. You can see which ones were added to with donations, interest, and then the closing balances at the end of everything put together was not a lot lower than the starting balances. And then you've got the non-expendable trust line just kind of by itself down here in brown because we can't do anything to it. All it does is earn interest that goes into the expendable R.S. Douglas account. So I just think it was a neat way to visualize.
Yeah, it really is.
I'm glad you spent sick time on it and not
Work time.
I told Gene I want the financials for the whole town so that while I'm out recovering from my foot surgery,
Yeah,
I
you
might
can do
do
the
this
whole
with
thing.
all the
It'll be up
departments
on the
and it'd just be
big
like a big map
screen.
that you can peruse
Yeah.
through.
Will be more presents or less presents from the town?
It's a different way to understand it. If you don't understand it one way, this would be another way.
Yep. I don't understand it.
All right, so we're going to start over with the explanation.
This is fine. Whatever. This is what I understand right here. So.
Mainly, I just kind of wanted to get this and then post it for the public to see so that it was a bit, the library budget isn't just, we get money, we spend money. There's a bit more to it than that.
I think that's very smart.
Because municipal finance is a very Byzantine and convoluted process, full of curves.
Yes.
And that's the end of my treasurer's report.
All right.
And what was this called? Does it say what it is?
Oh, the graph, the Sankey graph,
How do you spell that?
Sankey. And I'm not even sure that that is an official kind of graph. It's just a new thing that's kind of popped up. You'll see a lot of people use it online to do things like, all right, I submitted this many job applications and then this many were, unreturned. This many I got a call. This many I was in an interview, and then like it's kind of, I don't know why. It's just, it's a trend right now. It's the memes for nerdy people.
Should try it with the phone.
Yeah.
Send me your financial data.
Oh, I will.
Pretty fast.
All right, director's report.
July circulation was up over last year. We circulated more books, more audio, more periodicals, less video, more other physical media, a lot more digital loans. We didn't have as many PC Wi-Fi clients, which kind of confuses me because it seems like we've had a lot of Wi-Fi usage, but we've had a lot more long-term usage going in on, like people coming in and using the PCs for a long period of time. And a lot of libraries have limits, like you can come in and use the PC for 30 minutes or for an hour. And we've only had an issue where all of the computers were occupied and someone came in and there wasn't something available once. So I haven't really seen it necessary to do limits yet. The door count was 4,882. Since it was summer reading program, we hosted a lot of programs, 38 in total, with a total attendance of 440. For a summer reading program, we had 10 volunteers, 66 participants. Overall, kind of the trend continued that I talked about last month. The story time numbers in and of themselves were down, but Wednesday morning programming was incredibly well attended. We never had a program that didn't have less than 40 people. And having the bigger programs here seemed to work out pretty well. We weren't trying to, having to cram as many people into a much smaller space. And it was well attended, well received, and, I think that it kind of, it made some other people who aren't aware of the cool things we do at the library be like, oh, hey, cool, there's a giant inflatable planetarium in the municipal center gym right now, and we have the library to thank for that. So, Dynamic Douglas Day was a pretty successful event too, I think. Our booth attracted steady traffic throughout the day. They did end up waiving charges, so we didn't have to pay for a spot. In the end, they just wanted us represented there, and as long as you didn't have to pay, I was happy to donate my time. About 23 kids did our craft, which was making a Christmas ornament, and got glitter everywhere. Our black and white print that was printed out by Philip Parsnow got mostly colored, and now it's in the library, just so people can finish coloring it. I posted it on Facebook if you want to see.
I
There's
saw that.
bigger-
That's cool.
So was drawn by a local guy, printed on a big printer, and it's been kind of a community coloring project to fill it in. And as soon as that one's done, I have another one. And I did have a dozen or so conversations with people about library services, like what we do, what we offer. Had books out on display, tried to make it look nice, and I got dunked in the dunk tank a lot, so that raised a lot of money for the Veterans Association.
So how'd you get the doctor to say you could do it?
I didn't get my steroid injections in my foot, so it wasn't a infection risk.
Oh, okay.
It's like, let's just not do it, because I'm getting surgery next week anyway, so. It hurts, but I got to be in the dunk tank, so.
Thank you for your sacrifice.
And then I got to dunk other people, which was also fun. I had especially a lot of fun dunking Chris Bilodeau, and then giving him the wave. Inside joke. Our teen advisory board is back, makes me happy because it was one of the things that was on our strategic plan. But from the coming out of the volunteers who were doing the summer reading program and helping Deb, and my desire to have a Monday or a movie plays with the library, because we got the MPLC license back. I have everything else hooked up, and And so one of the seniors is taking it on as her senior service project. And so we have participation from high schoolers as well as middle schoolers. Our first meeting had about 10 kids, an even split, and they're going to be starting a weekly Monday movie programming at the library in September. So Monday after school, I think the time is 3:30, maybe it's 2:30. I don't know yet. I'm waiting on them they're going to like get it all pushed through the schools, publicity out. And
Is
the
there
theme,
an age? Sorry, is there an age?
middle school and high school students.
All right, so there's an age restriction. So you're
Yeah.
not having like some creepy 40-year-old watching a movie.
No
Yeah.
creepy 4-year-olds,
Good.
no.
I'm a 40-year-old.
Or 40-year-olds.
Sorry.
Either one, either
Yeah.
one.
All right, cool. Continue. Sorry.
But so, Rebecca, I'm sorry.
For that type of thing too, a lot of times when there's early release, but then you want it for younger children as well,
Mhm.
where the parents are working, and what do they do when their kids are early released? I guess there's childcare at the school or something, or they have to arrange for babysitters.
I don't
But
know, but
if-
we are gonna do that. That was
So
one of the
early
first
release
things.
dates?
I'm getting it set up. I did buy a DVD player that we can plug into the whole setup, so you don't have to like boot up a computer, like put the DV in, find the program, get everything. So I'm trying to make it as plug and go as possible. So we're hoping that with the teens doing kind of their own advocacy and getting word out that they're doing this on Mondays every day, and then it's just there ready to roll.
Yeah.
With teens who already know how to use all the equipment on those early release days, then we can have them come in and watch, Toy Story, Finding Nemo, what have you.
Now, is that, it's not in your facilities use or all your rules?
Well, it's a library event.
Yeah, but are you requiring parents to be there too, or not?
No, we won't require parents to be there for the movie. It'll be just like, any other teen programming or kids programming. It will just be a movie instead of a book.
Cool.
But they are going to do it every Monday after school, and they want to do. They made this a lot more complicated than I wanted it to be, because I was like, after school, there's going to be a movie at the library. Rebecca LaValle donated a popcorn machine, so we can have like popcorn, and it'll be kind of cool. But they're like, no, each month has to have a theme, so they have the themes planned out for the next.
Oh, for the
Um,
month, so it could be,
Yeah, so September is going to be like they're running with a storming Area 51 theme. So I don't know, if online people have been saying, if we all run to Area 51 at the same time, they can't stop us. So we're going to storm Area 51 and find out what's there. So they're going to watch Wall-E, Flight of the Navigator, E.T. But then on the last one, they're not actually going to watch a movie. The last Monday, they're going to have a craft, an activity where you come in and you make your own alien.
That's really cool.
So I'm like, okay, well, y'all have to plan the craft and, figure out supplies and whatnot, because,
It's cool they're thinking of that.
Mhm.
yeah.
Doing it themselves. That's
So-
awesome.
Yeah, I'm having, it's like, we have to ring them in, your
Yeah.
enthusiasm's great, but let's just try to get this off the ground first and not
Yeah.
make it,
Make it
too
realistic.
much of a pain in the butt.
So you said in September, but are they going beyond September, or you're not sure?
Yes, they have themes for, October theme is gonna be monsters, November is gonna be fall, December is, I don't remember what, and then I told them, stop, let's just get through the December, and then you can come up with more themes.
Yeah. That's good.
And yeah, there is just a lot of stuff going on in the fall. If anyone ever complains about the lack of library program again, I will just direct them to the most recent newsletter that we sent out yesterday. Because it was long because of all the things going on. We've got, the fall story time is starting up, and then Deb is starting a new book club for like the kids. It's like a picture book club. So like the same expectations of an older book club. The kids get their picture book, their parents to read it to them at home, then they come together and she tries to facilitate a discussion about the literature. And we'll see how it goes. I'm kind of excited to see
Yeah, that would be.
what it does. I totally want Ephraim to be involved in that.
I don't want to be the creepy 40-year-old.
Yeah, I know.
That program will be
Find a
full of
little
creepy 4-year-olds. And then there's the book bunch, and then there's the Young Readers Club, which she was worried that club was going to peter out, but she's already telling me, don't tell anyone else about it, because we already have, a full group of people who are going to be doing it every month, and more might become unruly. And then we have the new, what used to be the Young Readers Club is now the Wizards, Book Wizards, or something like that. So like we've taken what used to be 2 book clubs and broken them apart into 4 different book clubs. And then we have the Intrepid Readers who meet every month. We have the Greatest Book Club Ever who's coming out of hiatus. If you think you have time to read Pillars of the Earth before next Thursday, go for it. And we've got, the weekly things going on with Julie Stepanek. We've got not Julie Stepanek, Deb Hudgens, who's doing the music and movement for kids, and we've got the yoga every week, and we've got the quilting and knitting group that meets every Tuesday night, and we're going to do the bullet journal workshop also in October, November. There's like a 2 weeks between the two. So you sign up, bring your empty journal. There'll be like a whole presentation about how to do it. Come back in 2 weeks, and then you can kind of like follow up. And I'm excited about that because bullet journaling is awesome.
I've never
Yeah,
heard of it.
I've heard of it.
I watched the
Have not
video.
looked into it.
So is it something on a computer, or is it?
No, it's basic.
Journal.
I don't have it with me, but you have a journal like that,
Yeah.
and you make an index in the front and reserve a few pages for that, and then you can go wherever you want with it. And the idea
They
is
sectioned
that
off the pages too, so I
you
think
can
they're
get
like short,
really
long-term or
fancy with it.
something.
Mine is really not, but like you have basically kind of like you create your own yearly calendar in the front, and then you can break it down monthly, weekly, daily if you want to. You can create little habit trackers, and you just put everything in there and then put it on your index page there's a video you should watch.
I have a nice calendar
That
from
seemed like
Bex
too much
that I
work.
write down every meal we have every night. So I've been, because I was given the Bex calendar this year, so I said, okay.
And you can do stuff like that. The idea is
I
you can do
know,
whatever
but
you
it's
want.
so nice to just have it there without all this other stuff in it.
Mhm.
Yeah, my only problem with the bullet journal is you can't search like you can on a computer.
I know,
I'm always
I'm
like,
so
what? I
addicted
can't
to
find that. Yeah.
I know.
What I like about it is the way I use it is every day there's like, tasks. And
Yes,
if you
I'm totally
finish
into
it, you get to check it.
Gotta
If
check it out.
you
I think my
decide
daughter's done this.
you don't want to, if you postpone it, you have to like write it out again for the next day.
Yeah, you can
So
put it
you
right
get
in there.
punished for not doing what you want to do.
Yeah.
And then if eventually you say, I'm not going to do this, you just exit out and you start migrating it. I think that's the whole thing about bullet journal is migration, because you can migrate things, and there's a system for it. So like, you put a little front caret, move it somewhere else, and then you don't have to worry about it as much. If you're like, I'm procrastinating this because I just don't have time for it right now,
Or
you move it
sometimes
to
you
your
can't
next
'cause you're-
monthly page,
Yeah.
and then figure out how you're going to hash it out from there.
I was
But
just
my
trying to
Carrie
picture
gets
how that
all
would
into
work
it
for
with, like,
homesteading.
Fancy
just be
pay.
She was saying
I was
gonna
planning to do
teach,
this, but
high school physics this year, and I said, when did you take physics? But she said, well, I got a textbook, and I went through it, and so then she did something like that with it, where she set these goals and then figured it all out, and so every day she would do something, so she would be all ready for the fall, because she didn't want to be asked questions and say, huh?
Yeah.
But yeah, the idea is that, you can have all of your stuff in one
Yeah.
book instead of
But she
having
was
your
checking things off,
calendar
I remember,
and your
yeah.
planner and then sticky notes all over
Yeah,
the place.
and
There's
the
a
notes app
system
is
to
what
get it
I
all
use.
integrated into one spot.
Sweet.
I use
Take
it
that
very
with you
basically.
So
Carrie
it's- and
uses
it's
it very
called,
ornately.
Bullet journalism,
Bullet journaling.
journaling, ING. Okay, and so I'll put a star next to that.
Carrie does it to an annoying level. So like every night before we go to bed, there's like, a quiz. It's like, did I forget one-on-one time with you today? Did
Oh,
you
wow.
today? Because like his habit tracker, and then she color codes it all.
Oh,
so
wow.
Like, there's, anyway, this is all beside the point. We
so
can-
get like
Old
marks.
business.
Did
Get
anyone
marks.
feed the pigs today?
Pretty much.
Okay, you could forget.
Did we
Sometimes the
shut
hedgehogs get forgotten.
Yeah.
You could also use
Did
it
we shut the
passive
chicken coop?
aggressively, so you could color code who fed the pigs.
Or how
This is
good were
very
the
pink
chicken
this
treats
week.
today?
I'm gonna do do that. I'm gonna do a Skillshare class. Bullet journaling for homeschool.
Well, come to the class, register
Yeah.
for it, and then
Yeah.
I don't know how. All right.
Yeah, that's my bullet journal to sign up.
Do you have one?
No, I use Asana. Does anyone know what that is? Project management. And then I use this notes tab like crazy. I was just asking Fred a question. He's like, I don't use the notes tab. I'm like, look at all these notes. I have.
Yes.
Mhm.
But I
Oh my
can
God,
search
yeah.
them.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, no, I do like that.
A little out of control. I look at the number of them.
All right, now that we figured out bullet journaling, are we
Yeah.
ready for old business?
All business.
Yes.
And I had written down on my agenda, which I see you've copied, it's Mass Office on Disability. I looked it up online, so I had put the wrong name down.
On disability. Singular.
instead of.
Yeah, and it's singular, not lots of disabilities.
Disability.
So this is shelved, basically.
Or are we there? Building projects,
I think
mass
so.
office on
Back to you.
disabilities.
You can keep talking.
I don't think we have a clear enough idea for a project right now to submit a strong application for anything, either a project or a proposal. So I don't plan on applying for anything from them this year.
Did you talk to them at all?
I did, and they're like, you need to know,
Well,
we already have a survey done from the town. We've already done that, and so, we would need to come up with a project that we would want them to investigate, and we could use that for the planning part, or we could use, for a project if we had already done that and had that. But, there's no way we're gonna be able to get all the trustees on board, and all the building and facilities construction committee people on board, and the town engineer on board with any piecemeal thing before the deadline for this grant. It's not a realistic expectation.
Fell apart so fast.
No.
It fell apart
It was a
like,
fantastic plan at first. We had the drawings, everything made
Yeah.
sense, and then it just. So, I guess we'll hold
Yeah,
on to
we get
that
into
one
the
for next year.
details, right? So do you think that they want to keep, something about investing in those old plans as part of potentially the issue? They want to keep to that a little bit, or no?
We should burn those this year. We should be done with it, and then
Just
move
have
on
an
to
event
next
that
year.
burns
In
them.
a bonfire.
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
Just toss one in.
yeah, and then they're going to say, well, so much work has already gone into that. and
Well, they'll
all,
forget about it. That's what
Permitting and
people
this
do.
and that and the
We need-
other.
If there were maybe new board members who didn't know about it.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
But I mean, as far as the facilities people, they didn't
Oh,
know.
yeah, fire them.
I think that makes sense
Yeah.
to not do it this year.
Okay,
Hold on.
but,
Let's get a little
so
bit
are you
going
going to, when you come, while you're out, instead of doing bullet journalism or whatever you're going to do, can you sort of work on an outline
There
of,
it is.
is that the
Back here?
airplane?
That's the plane.
Well, that's
Oh, for
No,
the
it isn't.
mosquitoes?
Yes.
Can we table all discussion on mosquito spraying until after I've gone home?
They're going to hit your house tonight.
I don't care.
I think they
Wow,
already did
that's a different generation.
it. All right. All right. No,
Are we supposed
no
to
more
shut the
mosquito.
windows? I don't know, they're spraying again.
I
I
think
think
it's
our
this
part was
side.
already done.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do about it.
Uh-oh.
We just gotta lay down and take it from the government.
But I just didn't know if we're supposed to shut our windows, if you're gonna.
It's gonna affect everything. anyways.
So what I was trying to say is,
Yeah.
could you develop something while you're lying around and not wanting to?
I can
get stuck
try.
with-
Everything I develop just gets shot down.
Just,
Yeah,
just
well,
collect
no,
all the
I'll keep
information.
flinging stuff against the wall and maybe something will stick.
Should
Well, what about
They
getting
want like a
we should do like
calendar.
a subcommittee or something, so.
Yeah.
No, we just gotta
Help
hunker
you with
down
this.
the information
Should,
until they
yeah,
get
should there
Like
be
a-
like,
I mean,
have,
I
Can we
like
do
the
that?
plans that your dad drew out, the sketches, and I
Yeah.
would love for that to happen to the library.
We're just all in
Um,
good time. This is a long-term situation. Library will
Yes.
be here for 100 more years.
yeah, we still wanna do it, we just don't wanna do it for this cycle. So what if we, like to Kate's point, what if like a couple of us from the library and a couple from the building and facilities and Bill or Matt or whoever, it's like a mini group that kinda comes together and then makes a reasonable, kinda puts our heads together. And maybe that could be done independent of Justin to some extent too.
That would be awesome.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't know who's on
I
that
don't know.
committee.
Yeah, I
so.
don't know how that works.
I think
but-
one of the people that's been pretty helpful is
So,
Mike Fitzpatrick.
Cahill. Is it Fitzpatrick?
Cahill.
It's
Who's on the building construction?
time to go.
Oh, now there's
It's like little
brand new-
barnstormers, right? Like little
Wow, I didn't
biplanes on
expect
the-
it to be
It
that.
scared me last night, yeah.
I didn't hear a thing.
I didn't hear anything.
But isn't it early?
I didn't
It's
prepare
really
anything.
early.
I didn't dump any of the waters yet. Or cover the bees. They're not supposed to spray till it's dark.
Oh.
Well, 7:30 they said,
7:30.
so it started, yeah.
Idiots.
Yeah, it's dark.
There's no
But it's sort of
mosquitoes
cool,
outside.
isn't it, too?
Yeah,
I
it's
was
too
outside till
cold.
2 o'clock last night and didn't see a single mosquito.
Yeah.
Really?
It's
really
getting cold.
cold.
This is fall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just, alright.
I know it's
can't-
really cold the 2 nights that they did
Can't
it.
keep thinking about it. I'm going inside.
I haven't slept for 2 nights as it is.
Oh, so yeah, I don't know if it's Mike Fitzpatrick or Mike Cahill, or what his name is, but it's Mike something or other. He's very good. And very,
From the building?
yeah.
Ian Brown, Sean
Okay.
Holland, Michael Fitzpatrick, Virginia Howe, Shirley
Okay, so
Mazinski,
it's-
Bill Cundiff.
Okay, so it's Mike Fitzpatrick,
Mhm.
and he's been very supportive of anything that happens to the libraries.
Okay. And who else is on there, Justin?
Um,
Is that what you were reading?
Yeah. And here's the list. And I don't know, maybe they would be more amenable to those plans if they also included a paved parking lot. That seems to be a huge.
Yeah, but the
hang-up.
whole, that was the big thing, that we couldn't put a paved parking lot in it because it's in the aquifer. And if we pave it, then you're,
You could pave up to what we've already gravelled,
yeah.
because that is outside the wetlands protection zone. That was a very calculated line.
Yeah, I know, they measured it straight to the library's back door, I think, from what I remember.
I think you could still pave it, you would just have to do a lot more,
It's like drainage and this and that and the other.
yeah,
Which is,
grading to
gets
make it
very
work.
expensive.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
why.
Mm-hmm.
It was cheaper to do the gravel.
But the gravel's not technically ADA compliant, so it
Right.
doesn't bring us into full. And to be honest, I don't. That shouldn't be. I don't think it's realistic to say, like, let's make the library fully ADA compliant with every possible, barrier removed. I mean, it's.
And that seems to be the direction that the Mass
Yeah.
Office on
Yeah.
Disability is moving towards, like,
We have to
do
deal with the
something, do what you
reality.
can, yeah.
Do what you can, but the BFCC seems to think you have
Yeah.
to do it by the book and everything else, so.
That was why the town engineer, really, really boo-booed the plan, was because he just thought it was ridiculous that we would have a ADA accessible entrance in the back where there's no,
Well, there's nothing in the
It's
front
not the main
either.
thing, but there's not anything in the front
So it's
either,
just because
and
it's
it would make more sense.
gravel?
It's just because it's gravel, but I mean, you can get
Well,
around just
everybody-
fine on it, it's just not officially, technically compliant.
Yeah, I never really thought of it. I didn't even
But,
really.
for them, it's
Yeah.
all
Not-
procedural, it's all about procedures and codes and this and that and the other.
Yeah.
But we
Um,
couldn't get the parking lot there unless we had a permeable surface,
Mhm.
like the gravel that's there
Mhm.
now. But we,
Just-
and I think it went much further back towards the library than that whole parking lot. Or
Yeah,
else it-
the original plans, yeah, they had the parking lot going pretty much to the back of the property. Whereas whenever we just put in the gravel that we got from Pine to make the lot we have,
Yeah.
we intentionally stayed away from the wetlands conservation protection area and made it where we could.
No, it was fine. You
Mhm.
didn't need any waivers for it because it was permeable. It's a permeable surface. If it was paved, it wouldn't be. And then you'd
You
have to
wouldn't have
put in
had, we
all
wouldn't
the.
have needed to stuff, but it would have then gone before another committee. It would
This
have gone
town has
before
too
the-
many
it has-
committees.
Yeah, we've got a lot of committees.
Yeah. doesn't.
And we were already,
Don't know who to
one
compare
committee
it
had
to.
already turned, spreading free gravel behind the library into, what ended up costing us over $9,000. I didn't want to go to another committee. We could have made it bigger if we'd gone to another committee, but
Yeah.
Well, I think it's fine the way it is.
Yeah.
it's great. People are happy. Everyone's thrilled with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if we had an entrance back there, people would be even more thrilled.
Yeah,
I don't see that parking lot going away anytime soon.
yeah.
It's very well used.
So,
So, I think,
the
the best thing we could do
subcommittee-
is just raise a crap ton of money and just do it,
Yeah, but one, and that's
Still
my
trying to find
beef
that wealthy
of, all of you guys are all in favor of spending LIG, MEG on operating expenses. I think we have to save it for stuff like this, and that's what we were doing for quite a while, so I'm always going to be a no vote for using it for operating expenses, so.
So what we're trying to say about the subcommittee, Alex, I was gonna ask,
Yeah.
what are the parameters? I don't know how we would do that, or who to ask, if we can do something like that, and just like maybe 4 people or something, I was thinking, to start.
Well, I think Bill Cundiff would be good on
Mhm.
it too.
To-
Well, I
yeah.
think talking to Matt would be the person to start with,
Mhm.
and asking if, because we want to get something together, and we keep on hitting.
So are you
walls.
volunteering for this committee?
Kind of. I feel like I don't have nearly enough information. Like, I wasn't at the meeting where you presented. I don't know where any of the plans are. You're gonna be out, so I don't know if there's something you can share with us. I feel like I have some information, but it's like
Yeah.
half done.
We
I'm
can all-
willing to do it. I have a little more perspective, but I wasn't here for the.
Yeah.
But we were asking for advice from the BFCC,
Yeah.
and so they gave us advice, go talk to Charlie, who no
Right.
longer is in the business.
Yeah, so if we talk to like Mike and someone else from the building committee, Bill, we'll start with Matt, and then a couple of us, just like casually.
I would, start with Matt, because when you talk
Yeah.
to Matt, things get done. You end up with, $114,000 of capital money.
Yeah,
spend on your
oh
library.
yeah, that was a good program, right? But is there, I forget, there was some stuff you shared with us a while ago, so I guess my question to you is.
Yeah, everything's
where's-
there.
Where is it though? Because I don't remember now.
I can resend
That
the
was-
link out to
Okay.
it.
Yeah, I think you had emailed it, and it was on the
Because I have a
BFCC
lot, I keep all my
minutes.
It's a good winter
Yes,
project too.
me so I can search them.
emails.
Whenever I need anything.
Building ducks.
And then, yeah, I mean, we can certainly have a conversation with Matt, independent.
But included on that have Aaron's plans too,
Yeah.
so
Right.
it's all together.
Because that's the direction we want to go, I think.
Yes, we don't need
Yeah.
the fancy dancy stuff that,
Right, we
that
don't need that.
Charlie was.
Yeah, we don't need it,
proposing.
and we don't want it. I mean, the operational cost would be astronomical.
Right, it would be two staffs.
Going forward, the cost, yeah.
Well, if you put the children's room downstairs.
You have to have some, more people, is that
Yeah.
right? Okay.
And once we reorganize and bring it back to a board, we should definitely have my dad there, because he's just
Yeah.
really good at that
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, he'd,
That's his job.
that would be great if he'd be willing
Yeah.
to join us in in a
Or,
casual way.
or maybe, could Aaron come to this subcommittee? meeting?
Right.
Definitely like
Yes,
midwinter.
the first
'cause
one.
There'll be a lot less to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, December or something, because until then, it's just
Okay.
run around with our heads cut off, pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to do it
Just
anyway.
before budget season ramps up.
Yeah, we'll get it done eventually. It's gonna be awesome. Big moves.
All right. Any other?
So who's going to take charge of talking to Matt and?
I guess I will. But once I get that information, if I
Yeah, I'll
have
send
any
you the
questions, I'll
information.
get what I can ahead of time.
Then I can help on that committee
Yeah,
at some
okay.
point, like if we just all meet up and
Okay.
offer whatever.
All right.
But it might help if like, the board, instead of the director, communicates
Yeah.
with the town
Yeah,
administrator.
no, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we don't need like a quorum, we just need.
Yeah, it's a subcommittee, so it doesn't.
And we need capital fundraising to go on too, because I think that we're gonna wanna fund this. We need big influxes
So
of
that's sort of
that.
like maybe the second step. maybe
Because if we
talk
rely on
about-
library incentive grant money and save all of it, I'll be 66. By the
know.
time we have $350,000.
Yeah, I know, but still, it's a start. If it's not using it for operating expenses.
You could easily do GoFundMe.
But there's
I've
this
seen it for less,
opportunity cost,
you know. Because it's not just handicapped elderly, it's handicapped younger children. You know, that's the biggest thing we should play on. just
And
because-
children who aren't even handicapped, because children don't have huge legs and they have to be carried around by parents. Or
think-
pushed
I
on
don't think
things that have wheels.
I don't think anyone in the town is saying that we shouldn't make them handicap accessible. It's just
But you
the,
get them on board, you know, just.
no, I think they're on board for that. They just want the giant plan still.
Mhm.
Or why did we spend so much money on the
Yeah.
giant
Mhm.
plan? That's the,
Yeah.
but
I
we're
would
getting
say that.
nowhere
Mhm.
by pursuing it. you know,
Right.
Because we, no way are we gonna get this.
Yeah,
And
and
they're
it's
not
like, what,
supporting
we're
us.
gonna like throw
Yeah.
good money after bad to
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
try to make it happen. Just not
yeah.
gonna- All right. That sounds good.
That's what that is.
All right.
I'm gonna start myself in task list.
There you go. All the things you have to do.
No, I'm thinking tomorrow. What things I have to do tomorrow.
I saw the painting started or finished.
He was painting yesterday and
I thought
and
I
he
saw him
It's an
yesterday.
ongoing project.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw him like.
I wrote down his
popping on
name.
keys.
we need a painter.
He's doing an estimate on my house too. But yeah, it's underway. Guess that's all there is to say about that.
And do you know when it's supposed to be done?
It just completely depends. I mean, like today he was able to work pretty much all day.
Yeah.
Other days, because of either temperature or humidity, this and that, the other, he hasn't been able to do, you know, exactly what needed to be done at that point in time. So
Is he from
a
Douglas
couple
or?
weeks, I think. Yeah, he is. I forget what his name is.
David, I think.
David something.
Other building projects?
Three things. Mary Beth Bateau, a student at BVT, applied a coat of varnish to the front exterior doors. It might need another, but you know, there is stuff there now. And she applied a coat of gray protective paint to the back door to protect it from the elements.
Oh, good.
Awesome.
So when did she do that?
Didn't notice.
On what?
I didn't even notice.
I didn't either, you know, I feel bad. You know.
It was 2 weeks ago, maybe? It
Really?
hadn't been long. I think it was not this past week, but the week before. Like, I think she did the front door on a Wednesday and the back door on a Friday.
Wow.
But, so that's done.
But we'll look.
Jeff Grenier replaced an emergency light for us. The invoice hasn't come in yet, but we need to pay for it because, you know, it kind of wasn't an optional expense. It was an emergency light. So
Okay.
do we want to use building money for that or just use operational money?
Yeah, building.
And
Do you need
do we
a,
need a motion to
Yeah.
approve that to come out of building donations?
I'll move that.
Whatever amount it is.
Yeah, I can second. I will second.
All those in favor? Any other comments, questions?
Aye.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
But we don't know how much it is, right?
No, I think it'll be like between 150 and 300.
Okay. No more than 300.
You say an emergency, like one light, it's
Mhm.
$300.
Maybe.
What
That's
is
a
an
Because
emergency?
they have their own
light?
independent power supply that switches on in the event that the power goes out. They like alert, they beep, they strobe, they do all sorts of weird things.
That's crazy expensive. That's
Mhm.
ridiculous.
It's not just plugging it in, it's like probably,
It was like replacing the whole, like, there's like a big panel that goes up and then you've got the two lights that come out of it that stick out in different directions. It's like that whole shebang of stuff.
Wow.
And they screech at you. And the other thing that I wanted to just kind of like, you know, start thinking about, I mean, I'm not going to have time to do this before I go out on leave, but I'd like to seek out quotes from local contractors for the cost of getting a full-size door into the entry of the west wing of the attic. It's one of those things that Mike Fitzpatrick came in and said we could do for cheap, and your dad also said we could probably do for pretty cheap. He estimated it would be something like maybe a $3,000 project, I think, to do both. And, you know, Mike came and said, well, we could even simplify it further And then, I wouldn't even want to do both because the east attic is not usable for anything. All the
Oh, sure.
floorboards are kind of rotted out. It's just a disaster up there. Whereas the west wing has been more finished. It's got bookshelves all around it, and we have a lot of material up there. But once my foot started getting bad, I set that all to walk-in loan. So it's not something you can place a hold on. It's something that if you're call, then we can get it down for you. Or if someone shows up and wants it, then we can get it down for you. Back
Is
when
this
it was
up in the loft area?
Yeah.
no, it's up in the attic, off of the loft.
So you have to go.
So you have to
get
go up to the
loft.
loft, and then there's a door. It's about this tall,
That weird
and
little
this
door,
wide,
yeah.
and it's on the other side of that.
You have to go through that door to get to it. Okay, all right.
And we've got a lot of material up there. We were circling something out of there at least once a day. We were probably,
Wow.
5 or 6 things a day were going out, in delivery bins or going on a hold shelf. And now it's just not moving. It's just sitting there. So the books might as well be weeded if we're not going to, make it accessible again or ask people to walk through the Hobbit hole door, which has been kind of a boo-booed idea. So it's a project I would like to see happen at some point if,
Yeah, go ahead and get quotes, and then we can.
So I might have quotes in January.
To go over and check it out. I don't think I've been in that room yet.
So
No,
has,
I know when I came on, we did like a new trustee
well, it was just you
orientation,
and-
because
Oh.
it was me and Kevin, I think, at the same
Yeah,
time.
right, and me, and and that's
Oh,
where
that was neat. We looked
in the
because
attic.
Kevin said, their farm was for sale. So that's, and then I went home and said, oh, guess what? And then he said, wow, this guy came, Aaron Sokrat came and I think he wanted to buy our place, but for his son. So then he called the next day and told him about it. And then I think your father's place sold for, or not your father, your grandfather's place sold for within the week.
It's crazy timing.
Yeah, it was amazing. And it was all because of that trustee walk around.
What do you know?
It was all Kate's fault.
Sorry.
Perfect timing. Just finished my last math exam when I got that phone call. Crazy timing.
But you've been up there. You've poked your head
I
in.
didn't. I literally poked my head in.
Mhm.
But to go in there would
But I
be pretty
haven't been
cool,
in
just to get an
since
idea.
since all of it's been done at all.
It's
Yeah, it's not nearly as
Yeah.
pretty anymore because
Yeah,
all the
I
beadwork's
know.
covered up with gray foam.
I haven't
Yeah.
been up there since that
Yeah.
happened.
So putting in the big door, what would change the activity in that room?
I would remove the walk-in loan hold portion of it, so that we could ask, we could tell staff, all right, this is just part of the stacks now. So
All right.
you go up there. If the items are holdable, then people will put them on hold and they'll move.
All right. So make it usable legally.
So what do? Put steps on the other side? You make the door all the way down and then put steps up to the floors?
Well, your dad's plan was to cut away, so that the steps start where the doors are now, and then go up. That way you don't lose any space. But Mike was like, you can't use that space anyway, because all it is just, so basically the stairs would start, if you're looking up the stairs whenever you come into the library right now, and there's the railing along the front, if the steps started at the end of that railing and went up, and then the ceiling above that was just removed and then reboxed in to where you had headroom there, then you could just put a full door at the top of the steps, and it wouldn't be a huge deal.
Yeah. And if it's, what are the rules on having to pay prevailing wage? Is it anything over $10,000 or? I know
think
the
you're
rules have
always
changed.
supposed to pay prevailing wage if it's a.
Or you don't have to go out for quotes, that's what
if
it
it's
is.
we wouldn't have to go out for a quote if it's less than $10,000, and it wouldn't have to go before any other committee.
Yeah.
We're always supposed to pay prevailing wage.
Yeah. And Jean helps you with that?
Mhm.
Yeah, okay.
Cool.
That sounds good.
Sometimes, people can, donate some stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right. Grants, prospects.
Grants prospects is a work in progress. The town has an EIN instead of a federal tax ID number which is like 3 digits, a hyphen, a few more digits, another hyphen, and then 2 digits. And so you've got 2 hyphens in there. Whereas, whenever you're applying for grants online with things like, Walmart, Unibank, all this other stuff, they're looking for a tax ID number because they're expecting you to be a nonprofit 501c3. And so if you don't have that format of number, which I think is 2 digits, a hyphen, and then a whole bunch of other digits,
Not too
you
many.
automatically get
Yeah.
rejected. And so like we've tried playing with that some, and it's kind of I don't know how to fix it, but like, that's kind of the low hanging fruit when it comes to getting grants, is like finding, the big chain stores, the companies, the corporations, the foundations that just distribute money, and they have automatic forms you can go fill out, put in your data, and then, expect a small disbursement. So it would probably make more sense just to do this with the Friends tax ID number
Yeah,
and
we
the
have it.
town's tax ID number.
Well, does the town have a tax ID number?
It
The
does.
EIN.
Like I have a number for it. There is also a tax ID number aside from that EIN, but that's not recognized either. So it's weird because like the IRS has this automatic, verification system, and the town's tax ID number fails verification, even though it is the town's tax ID number. We have confirmed this. We verified it. It's just weird. I don't know what's going on. Rather than continue banging my head up against that wall, if the Friends wanted to empower me to, seek funds
As long as
on
I
their
don't
behalf.
have to do the work, yeah.
Mhm.
And just because it was so easy with Unibank and Walmart, bingo, it was done.
Yeah.
And, yeah, we'll give you a dough. I wasn't asking for that amount of money that you might be, which I think they would consider too, so.
I was hoping I could apply to Walmart again with a library instead of the Friends of the Library,
Yeah.
and maybe, get 2 grant disbursements from them.
Yeah, I don't see why not,
But
because
not if I can't get the tax ID number to work.
Well, you can use the Friends.
Mhm.
Yeah, go with it from the Friends. They want to help the community. They're ones that want to help. So does Unibank. So does Webster Credit Union. They all want to, contribute to the community. So, and this is a way of doing it. But just think of reasonable. Don't ask them for $2 million, but ask them for, a reasonable amount.
No.
Number.
Not $2.5
$2.5
Good. I will keep pursuing that and use the Friends tax ID number when I can get the town's one.
All right, facilities use policy. Justin, we're just gonna make you talk
They're here
the entire time.
still.
This meeting,
It's the
apparently.
same as last meeting, only at the last meeting, it was directed to put the URL of the appropriate town documents in the policy, so you can find that now under the activities release form in the policy, and also on the Carrick Room application, it has a hyperlink there too. It's a long unwieldy thing. In reality, we'll just have them printed out, whenever someone's filling out the application, they'll have that with them. I removed the line in the tutoring policy about preferring parents remain at the library because I know there wasn't 100% comfort level with that. And also I integrated the concerns about proctoring. So I turned that instead of just the tutoring policy, it's the tutoring and proctoring policy. And at the bottom, it just has a little blurb that proctors are allowed to administer exams on the main room of the library or reserve the Wallace room for said use. All normal printing, copying, faxing rates apply. And I did just go ahead and put in the library staff cannot serve as proctors
Thank you.
because
Yeah, okay, sounds good.
I thought about it and I wish we could, but I mean, it's not something we can commit to 100% of the time. And if you can't commit to it 100% of the time, you probably just shouldn't commit to it at all. If kids want to take a test in the library, they need to find a proctor.
Okay, so did you put somewhere here about not having private events? Because it's a public library. It's specifically remembering the birthday party, or stuff like that in the libraries. Unless the whole town is invited.
No, but I should do, all events at the library must be of a public and nonprofit nature.
We could just
Yeah.
add
Would that work?
Yeah. Except for the tutoring.
That's not in the
Well, they got their own policies, so they can
That's
be
true.
considered exempt.
Any other policy?
So what you want us to do, to make a motion to accept it?
If y'all are ready to make a motion to accept it,
That's
we
right,
can,
'cause
or
we
I can
only
make that
accepted one,
change
right?
and we can come back to it.
I think
I
we
know
looked at it.
not everyone is here,
Yeah. We
but I think I
found,
did everything that was, I think I addressed all the concerns.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable with accepting it. We've looked at it a couple of times.
Yeah,
With that,
with that.
Addendum.
one.
Yeah, that one little 2 words.
Having a motion to accept the,
Yep, motion to accept the new facility use policies with the new information.
Seconded.
other comments? Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Yes.
I told you it wasn't as bad as it looked, it's just really long.
I know, I was worried when All right, Friends of the Library.
Oh.
Do you want to go first or do you want me to go first?
Is Gary full? Oh, okay. I did get an email today, and I haven't responded to it, from the president of Friends, Carolyn. And she had some leg surgery, but she'll be back in commission in September, and she's planning on coming in and helping sort stuff. And so I'll try to coordinate my time there with her, and she can help part of the day of Oktoberfest.
What's her last name?
Dorville, I think.
Do you need help? You need help both the day of and ahead of time? Is that what you're saying?
Well, it depends on, you're saying that it's, but you had led me to believe that you had sorting under control, so I
Well,
wasn't.
we have
that
all of the
Carolyn
library
Rock-
discards have been sorted.
Yeah.
But like the donations that people have brought in just in boxes,
Yeah.
that stuff hasn't been sorted and integrated into the rest of the mix.
Okay, but you have labeled boxes with fiction
Yes.
and nonfiction stuff.
All that's there. It's just, like the same thing as usual. There's just stuff in the floor that needs to be integrated with the
Okay.
stuff on the shelves.
Okay.
So you need help with that. You need help the day of. I'm not going to be there this year.
I know, but you weren't here a few years ago, and we managed to do it too. So I'm not
I don't
worried
know
about
if
that
I've
as
been to
long
Oktoberfest,
as
have I?
they're, what?
I haven't not been to an Oktoberfest since I started as director.
Right,
She's
I'm
saying
talking
before.
before you were a director.
Oh.
I can help you
Back
that
then,
morning,
nothing
Ellie.
mattered.
Does
I
that
don't
work?
remember those days.
Sure.
That's
I was-
prehistory.
But are you going to be around?
What day is it?
It's the first
The 5th
Saturday.
of
October
October.
5th.
Saturday.
Yeah, write it in your bullet journal.
I'm actually gonna try to be here. I just don't know if it's gonna work out or not. And I'm gonna be on one of those knee scootery things.
Okay, but
That's
what I'll
pretty
need is the
interesting.
day before too. Okay, just put down the right time.
What
Yeah.
What time?
I don't know.
Yeah, do we know what time yet? Is
Oh,
Oktoberfest at
oh.
9 or what time is it?
Yeah, it starts at 9, but we start setting up about 8. But you
That would
know,
be perfect. I have to drop my son off at the high school at 7:45.
And no one's
Okay.
there before 10.
yes, there are.
There's not, I don't,
We
there's
have
not usually a
tons
lot
of
of book
people.
sale traffic before 10 o'clock.
Oh, no, on Oktoberfest, if it starts at 9, I think you get people.
Yeah, you do.
But maybe we just have been opening the library at 9. Oh yeah, because it's on a Saturday. The library opens at 9, not 10. I don't know what I'm talking about. Never mind.
Yeah. Do you
Yeah.
need volunteer sorters, or is that too hard for regular volunteers?
It's not really that hard. You just have to
Okay.
get comfortable doing it.
Okay. I don't know, someone needs some, I don't wanna keep volunteering him, but he does need some NHS hours.
Okay, so does he know fiction from nonfiction?
Yeah,
And then, so if he could just separate fiction books, are there things like that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
okay.
And then file them in the correct box with the author's last name.
Okay.
Is that-
This is
that
in the
way?
basement?
Yes,
Okay,
in that, underneath the foyer.
okay. 'Cause he's done
Where?
stuff.
There was an article, a name, a clue in a crossword puzzle. And
Uh-huh.
I kept on thinking, Adrian, but that's too many letters. It's foyer.
Oh! Crossword puzzles are hard.
I know.
I can't, there's like a rhythm to it, I can't quite get it.
So, if you, do you recommend this young gentleman to sort?
For
Sure.
now. I think, because he's done stuff down there, not quite
Mhm.
sorting, but
He's done scanning. He can sort, I think.
he can certainly.
He can
move.
try.
So when would he come in? I'll try to be there too.
What about next week? After two, like, he could be there at 2:30 off the bus.
I don't know what I'm doing next week.
I can contact you, but like some afternoon at 2:30 after Labor Day, is that not too late?
Yeah, I know, we're going to Vermont at some point, but I don't know
Was it your truck
when.
that we used
Okay,
last
because the bus
Oktoberfest
gets
to
off like
haul?
right there.
Yeah.
It was good. Put a lot of books in
I'm
there.
not talking.
I'm gonna pull 6 out of
I
them. Back on my way home.
So,
We passed the dump going through them last time.
wouldn't
to
take
the
him to the
school.
dump. I would take him to the PTO bin.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
full though.
Yeah.
It wasn't nearly full. It was just that, we had 2 people doing it at the same time. So it's like 2 people can't dump into the same box at the same time. But if it's just like one person, then,
Still,
I totally go use the PTO bin.
and the other thing was that I ran into Chris Stevens, who was the lady that was organizing the plant sale at
Mhm.
the May thing. And she's really enthusiastic about a fall plant sale, so she told me everything that she had started to do, and it was very exciting, so she's still planning on doing that and being on that side. So if you walk down the steps, she'd be on the left-hand side because we don't know if Sokol's is gonna be on the right-hand side.
SoCal will be there. They're always there. On the left-hand side, though, there's usually a dumpster.
No,
Like in the driveway.
no, we're not in the driveway, we're on the lawn, the
Mhm.
left, by the sign.
Okay.
That's where the plant stuff is gonna be.
Awesome. And then the quilt off will be inside.
Yeah.
She'll have plants
If
at
y'all have somebody
Oktoberfest
kind of
already?
up there shepherding
Yeah, and
that
also, I mean,
too.
I had dug up a bunch of daffodils and after they finished blooming, so I have some bulbs and then I said, oh yeah, and up in Vermont, there's these blackberry bushes that are going cuckoo and so I can dig up some of those
Yeah,
for,
that's
but that type of
awesome.
stuff, anything like that, she's interested in.
Okay.
Poison ivy.
Yeah.
Mm.
Also, my yellow flag was not yellow.
What color
It
was
was
it?
blue.
Oh.
You took some, I think, and a couple other people did.
Yeah,
I was
well,
like,
mine is,
oh,
yeah, I did, but it came up, I took it because it was yellow.
no. Yeah, and it was not. It was like I had some yellow flag, and it was like nearby. So I'm like, oh, it must have seeded out, but it was not yellow flag.
Oh
So
dear.
I'll try to find some yellow for you.
Okay. And then I'll dig that up.
Yes,
I have so
put it
much.
back, yeah.
I have a lot
I
of
know.
blue flags, so. Okay. I'm looking forward to that.
You also need quilt off judges.
Wasn't
Danielle
Danielle
was-
was interested in that?
Oh, yeah, and actually Carolyn said she would help with
Oh,
the.
good.
Awesome.
And I thought Betsy was willing to do that.
Yeah,
huh?
Betsy seems to be talking it up, and one of her participants made a quilt, a beautiful quilt.
Oh,
And it was the first
good.
time she'd ever made it, and she hand quilted the whole thing, and they were, yeah, it's
Wow.
amazing, so I was excited.
What were they doing to it?
They were just, I think, attaching it and then figuring out where to do the quilting part of it, and I don't know how to do it. I'm
They're
not
like,
a
we had to
quilter.
like push 2 tables in the library together because they needed to spread out the quilt and stretch it and do stuff. And the book club was going
Yeah,
on too.
probably,
and-
right.
Yeah.
Oh, they
It was
do.
exciting.
They do block them, I think, to square
Block.
it up.
Well, no, it was all put together.
I mean,
Yeah.
not block the pieces, but like like with
Make sure it's a
knitting,
square.
like you like stretch it out.
Yeah.
Oh,
Or rectangles.
that kind of
Made out of
blocking,
it,
yeah,
yeah.
okay, yeah. So, so I'll figure out Dana. And are you available on Friday? I know you probably are busy on Saturday,
The day
but,
before the.
yeah, Friday afternoon.
Before.
Most likely not.
You
Just
didn't-
October is just mayhem.
I should
Well, you know
be
the
around.
fall. you know.
I don't want to hear that.
Doesn't get any busier than the fall for a farmer. Yeah, I can help like a week before on a random day, but not during, because then we do the farmer's market and I run the farm at the same time.
Yeah, but it's not on Saturday, it's on
Yeah,
Friday.
and Friday we have the apple picking stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, ask me when it gets closer.
I'm around, I think, that whole weekend, since it's not
Yeah.
Columbus Day.
You can be
It's
there
just
the
that I'm
whole
not-
time, except when you go take a break at the beer garden.
From
I'm
Friday
not
on.
carrying things up and down. I can order people around, but
I'm not either. Not this year.
but Dana's pretty good.
You could ask one of the Boy Scout troops too.
Oh, yeah, that's Boy Scouts, and I do, I
Girl
do
Scouts.
Mary St. Pierre's group, the one's
Mhm.
84 or something like that, 384.
134.
257, something.
Okay.
But we have one more meeting before that, right? Yes.
September, yeah.
Mhm.
So Boy
Feels like
Scouts.
September already, but it's not.
Dana, and Carolyn
So
won't
close.
be able to.
Can't
carry
wait to
it,
get
but
this
she'll
thing
be
cut
able
off
to.
my foot.
Okay. So, is that, and, oh, Carolyn for, judging, or whatever, when you figure out, is it Mary that's in charge of the, judging the quilts, or is Betsy in charge of quilting? Can you give us a?
Who's in charge of judging the
And
quilts?
it's not me, I'm just.
Carolyn
accepting my-
Dorville apparently is in charge of judging the quilts, because she's the Friends of the Library president.
All right.
I don't know, I've been,
How many people do we, like, I'm trying to sense how
I'm
many
thinking just
quilts, how many
three,
you need?
maybe.
Just three?
Because I mean,
judges?
basically, what I think the idea is that we would get a bunch of ribbons, and every quilt would get a ribbon, and then the judges would
That's
be
the way we used to do it.
coming up with like a category.
We used to have
Just
contests.
each quilt gets some kind of award.
Yeah, best color,
Mhm.
best whatever
Yeah,
material
best,
usage,
yeah, best everything, best
Okay.
fringe.
Yeah.
Best block.
Yeah, my sister-in-law's big into quilts. She's in
Most direct
Uxbridge,
lane
so if we get
colorblind.
stuck, I don't. It's hard to say. She seems to always have something going on, but.
She could put a quilt in and get a ribbon.
Oh yeah, I'll ask her about donating quilts.
Well, it's $5 she has to, it's not just donating, she has to fork over $5
She
to the
used
friends.
to give up her quilt for like she has to give it up. Or what
No.
happens to it? Okay.
She gets it back. We
No,
get it.
the form says you have to drop your quilt off at the library the week before with your admission and your money. And
Okay.
then I put like a little tear off at the bottom of the admission form so that you can put like an entry number on it. So whenever you're judge, I don't know if you want to get that fancy with the judging or not.
Yeah.
And then they're supposed to pick their quilts up the following week.
Okay.
Or designate someone on the form who can come
Okay.
pick up their
so I
quilt
could
for
pick it
them.
up and get it to her.
Yeah, now, there was somebody else, and I can't remember who was mentioning her, that does do this type of stuff. And it was at our last trustees meeting, somebody was saying, and you should get so-and-so to come too, and I can't remember.
I think it was Deb Hudgens, wasn't it?
That's right, it was.
And the thing, I don't know how many quilts are going to be entered, and we won't know until the week before.
Oh, I guess,
And
yeah. it was
someone
Betty
will
who
have
said
to
that.
figure out how to display them all. I was thinking of getting
Clothesline.
a bunch of dowels, because we have all of the hooks for like curtain
an S
rods on the
hook?
windows.
Oh.
Yeah.
oh.
And so if we got like big thick dowels to put over those, quilts could be draped over them, and it would almost be like, the windows will be covered with quilts. And you can see them from the inside and the outside. I
What's
just have to go to
this-
Koopman Lumber and get some stuff.
And the ceiling is plaster, right? I was just
Mhm.
thinking of this. I'm waiting for this.
Yeah, because, I mean, like, the one that I'm going to enter for my daughter, I want the whole thing to be seen. I don't want it looped over, and the backside is not
Yeah.
too attractive. It's
Okay.
it's just leftover material, it's not any
If
pattern.
you
Best
have the
use of
do-
leftover
if you have
material?
a dowel, fishing line can hold it really well, you know, but you just need that dowel to make it sturdy. So like if you have run out of windows, then I guess it could go over. Do we want to put it over a bookshelf? Would be going to be open.
Well, we're gonna be open, but circulation is not gonna be a thing after one.
Yeah,
Um,
that's half the event.
So maybe.
But can you
we do it-
consult with Betsy? I know you've talked to her about it, but just
Mhm.
pin her down and make her take ownership of it all.
Pin her down and make her own it.
Yeah, and how they should be displayed and,
Yeah, she'll be good with that.
We're putting Betsy in charge of it.
And we don't want to damage any quilts by not knowing what we're doing and displaying
Yeah, that would
them.
be bad, right? Be written about in the book. So Jess, when are you out again?
September 5th is when my surgery is.
And then until when?
That's a later agenda item.
Oh, okay.
No,
I was also trying to figure out what's, who's in charge.
Numbers.
Who's your delegate while you're out?
Deb.
Deb is?
Mhm.
Okay.
October 10th. Trying to be that.
so is she
Okay,
coming
so
to
it's
the
not
next
terrible.
trustees meeting?
Now, what do we do about the next
Yeah,
meeting?
that's right.
Can we just skip it?
I don't know.
No,
skip it.
I don't like.
Use it to
be-
plan for
I was afraid we were
Oktoberfest.
gonna miss this
Yeah.
one, you know, so.
Use it to plan for Oktoberfest, because it'll be right before Oktoberfest. Get schedules hand mashed out for who's going to be manning
Yeah.
stuff. I do have Deb and Gail working on Oktoberfest. Usually it's just one librarian and one page.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to try to get Gail to stay longer throughout the event if I can't be there,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't want the library, open to the public without staff there.
Right, or like an older,
To keep
not
an
a
eye on
page, like
things.
someone who's
Mhm.
experienced.
So are you still managing them while you're gonna be at home?
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, I'm not
being there,
far
obviously.
away.
Like,
Um,
phone-wise.
I'm
Available
a phone
by
call
email.
away and 15 minutes up the road, so. Deb will be in charge of processing payroll and, paying bills and that kind of thing. Administering library discipline and forcing people to read.
Library discipline.
Alright. Good with friends?
Just don't burn the place down on Oktoberfest. while I'm not here. And don't hurt any quilts. Make sure the quilts all stay safe.
Alright, any other old business?
Nope.
Alright, new business. Auto renew?
Oh, is that still on there?
New? That's not new.
Is that on this agenda, or was that
The
last
Harris
week?
stuff.
Auto renew is there. The time when when the messages go out, it has to be whenever the system updates, which is that time in the morning. That's when like all the stuff goes out. So they can't move.
Yeah, but it's a,
The-
for my example, it was like a cheating statistic that you got. Because I brought my book in the afternoon, or evening.
Well, I'm
It
not
was-
gonna complain about that. It's gonna-
Well, I know, but I do. I would feel guilty about it. And I know I have all these books to go to Seattle with, and they automatically renewed. I was okay with that. But then a book that I had this week, I returned it Monday, I guess, and I thought, phew, it's due tomorrow, and they're going to renew it on me immediately. And sure enough, the Seattle books that I had out, they renewed early in the morning, so I don't see why, I just, all of these techie people in the world, I don't understand as a non-techie person, and I thought I was techie, I don't understand why they can't change the time for the renewals, that it can't be at 9 o'clock at night or something like that.
Some libraries are open.
Till 10?
If they want to renew it, I don't bother me.
What?
I mean, they could do
If
it
they-
like 11, 12. It has to do with like system loads, because like they pay for so many servers. They're doing so many things, and like you've got a system load going on. So like if every library were to pull the holds list at the same time to find out whatever they need to hold, then Evergreen would die. and they dedicate a specific time where like.
Okay, I
for an
just don't like it then.
imperceptible
I
amount
don't
of
like the
time.
auto renew then. You know, I
Oh,
think.
yes, you do. You
I
love
do
auto
not
renew.
like it.
I like
No,
it.
I don't.
It's pretty handy.
I think it's cool.
Yeah.
I
But
just
they
don't-
do it when they do it because the system actually is inaccessible every day for an infinitesimal amount of time. And that is whenever it sends all of the overdue notices, the lost item notices, the just all the emails. Like,
Well, how come, when you get an overdue, it's the day after the fines start? So it starts, charging you 5 cents or 10 cents or $1 or whatever it is you're overdue the day after it's due. Why can't it be the same for this auto renew stuff?
well, because then it would be auto renewing the item after it was due. You would have already accumulated a 10-cent fine.
Not if you did it at 11:59.
You can volunteer for that committee if you want.
Register this patron's complaint to CWRs for it.
I will register. We have had 2 patron complaints about auto renew.
What's the other one?
The other one was someone who was irate that their items had auto-renewed on this specific day because she lost a day, because she had planned on renewing them the following day. But it actually turned out she thought that she had the date wrong. So I'm like, the items were due yesterday. That's why they auto-renewed yesterday. You didn't. Today's, October, or, basically today's August the 27th, not the 26th. So, what you think happened didn't happen. And then she still decided she needed to be mad. So she said, well, I
For
don't
her, I want to
like
have lunch with this lady.
because it wasn't broke before, and what if because the whole argument was, I lost a day, I should never lose a day. And she's like, well, I should be able to renew the item whenever I want. Maybe I wanted to renew it the other day. I'm like, well, you could have done that, but you would have lost days. And so.
That's true.
And she
Yeah, but
just
it
got mad.
says, no, but it says, you get this notice saying, these things are due on Tuesday. So, okay, I'll bring them in on Tuesday, and bingo, they've been renewed. At 8 o'clock in the morning, or at 12:01 a.m. in the morning, or
Yeah, and
something like that.
99.9999% of people are happy about that.
Not me.
Well, we can't make
Right,
you
right.
happy. I'm sorry.
Put it in the minutes. It's on the.
I've
it's
already
on the
put it,
film.
I've put it in.
The video.
I put it in.
We've got it covered. All right. Any other new business?
ERIS report is submitted. I've included all the ERIS report data. If you want to take it home and gander at all the numbers for our materials holdings, it breaks them out by, like how many adult books we have, how many young adult, downloadable videos we have access to, which is 3. And then you can see the total holdings, which isn't something we talk about very often. You can see our circulation information for the year divvied out by age category as well as format. So again, like how many young adult books did we circulate last year? 1,173. And 37 audio. Then, how many children's books did we circulate? 10,889. It's just a different way of, I don't do this in all of my circulation reports because it takes up a whole lot of pages. And so that has that information on it, gross square footage of the library, just other random fun. How many parking spots we have, seating capacity, number of times our meeting rooms were used, information on you guys, 3 elected, 5 self-perpetuating trustees. I didn't know who the president of the Friends of the Library was, so I'd left that as NA. And then after that, there's the
It was in the
finance
minutes.
report.
It was in the minutes. You could have looked back there. I announced at some meeting who the officers of the Friends were.
The presidents tend to kind of
Naughty, naughty,
come
naughty.
in and out.
Yes.
And then next up is the finance report. It's in progress, in process. It's been submitted and locked, but I haven't sent in the signed paperwork yet because I was trying to get this done really fast. The paperwork doesn't exist yet. They haven't made so basically I have to get Danielle to sign one more thing, then I can send it in and we'll be all approved. But we are good on our total appropriated municipal income stuff. Certification for this upcoming year is not an issue. And we met our materials expenditure requirement. We exceeded it, as I always try to do. We were only had to spend, in order to remain eligible, $43,238.68 would have been 100%, compliance with materials expenditure stuff, and we spent $58,687. That's the salient thing that comes out of all the materials expenditure stuff in the finance report. It's what determines, did we meet our municipal appropriation requirement? Yes. Did we spend how much we were supposed to spend on books? Yes. So, yay, we get money.
Yeah, one thing I always liked about the ARIS reports was that you could, when they came out, they would compile all the libraries in the state in there, and you could sort it by population group. So any, like for us, it would be under 10,000, but more than 5,000. So you could, and then you could look at all the other libraries that were in your population group together. You'd have to sort it. You have to use Excel. I don't have Excel anymore, so I couldn't do it. But it's a fun thing to look at.
It's still there if you go to the Massachusetts Board of Library
That's the stuff that I
Commissioners
used to get
website.
excited about, not this. But it was numbers, yeah. And I can't figure it out now. Anytime I look on it, it won't let me do anything because I don't have Excel. So, but it is interesting just to sort everything with your same population group to see how well you fit into all of that. That's fun.
That you can go to the MBLC website, and there's one of the tabs is something like public library statistics, and then you can go in and all the data tables are there, so you can download them and do stuff with them if you want to. They have some pre-prepared reports you can look at.
Those are sort of useless, but.
Yeah, I haven't found them very useful, but I do like to download the data tables and then play with them.
Well, how do you
Make
do
my own
that if
stuff.
you don't have Excel?
Use the Open Office equivalent. The formatting won't be pretty and your eyes will bleed, but it's possible.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it's fun to look at.
The other thing, they don't make the data available until the year after, so I
Right,
always think,
still.
I want to see how I compare it to, all the other libraries in
Yeah,
Blackstone
well,
Valley
and-
this year.
yeah, right,
And then by the time the next year comes around, it's like, I don't care anymore. That was 2 years ago. Because, we're compiling the data from, the last fiscal year. We're submitting it now. They will approve it, and it will become available for people to look at the following fiscal year. So by the time you can see those public data tables, then it's like 2 years old. Which I should look at anyway, but it hasn't been a priority. When I have to elevate my foot for 4 weeks.
So you go on after the Apple Festival at Douglas Orchard. So,
Oh yeah, so we're good with that. We can.
yeah, that was good. Thank you.
So agenda, Apple Festival at Douglas Orchard and Farm. Danielle's agreed to make another story walk. It'll be the apple pie tree this time, so I've ordered 2 copies. This is what Better World Books is good for. So I want 2 copies of the apple pie tree book so that I can cut them into pieces and laminate them and make a story walk out of it.
Cool.
And so, we have a balance with them, so I can find, 2 identical old used editions and then, buy them for, $3 each. And,
I found 2 sheets from that other book too.
oh, really? They blew out.
I was just mowing. I was like, oh, they almost got him.
Yeah, after the Blueberry Festival, it was on Saturday, and then Monday morning I went to go pick them up, but we had that really bad windy storm
Yep.
between. So
Yeah.
the story walk was all over the place.
Yep.
And I thought I got all the pages, but apparently not.
So when's the Apple Festival?
It's, I should know this.
I
just grew up
with it.
October 5th or something like that?
No, it's September.
No, it's in September.
I think
It's
I have
not
it written down.
No, it's not.
It is the
It's-
14th.
That's the same day as the last concert, too. Which is good.
Yep.
Mm. Awesome. Should be a way bigger turnout, too. It won't be 98 degrees.
Oh, I
Mm.
know.
That's right, yeah.
You never
It's
know.
very hot.
You never know.
Yeah, that was horrible. I thought I was gonna die just putting it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Forget where we were. We were somewhere. All right.
Director's leave.
My use of sick bank time's been approved. My surgery scheduled for September 5th. I may be out earlier or out and back in. I mean, I don't know when this baby's gonna come. But, you know, the next couple weeks are, you know, unpredictable. But I will definitely be out next Thursday because that's when the surgery is.
Okay.
Well, wouldn't it be nice if it was the same day that,
No, that would be terrible. That would be the worst thing. I told Carrie if she had the baby before this meeting was over, I was going to name it Angus. Whenever the birth certificate paperwork came, and there was going to be nothing she could do about it. Ideally, you know, Thursday would be the ideal day to have it. Thursday night after I leave the library, then we have a week before the surgery, and it would be great. But you know, can't control the things. We've already driven up to Worcester thinking it was going to happen twice.
Oh, no.
And you know, Sunday
don't-
night we spent like all night in labor and delivery because she was having regular rhythmic contractions. They just didn't progress. They didn't turn into anything else.
Strange.
But you know, they start, and then as soon as you go into the hospital and like the sterile environment, and they hook you up to monitors and everything, it's like they stop.
Yeah. Who wants to come out in that environment?
Right. Like,
But you know, her Mal's delivery took 6 minutes, so it's like, you know, if
So you
there
don't have
is
time to fool around.
there's no time to mess around. So
Yeah.
if you start having rhythmic contractions,
and
you
how
go.
was Ephraim's?
Ephraim's was a long time because she was like in and out of like preterm labor for
So it's the
2
same idea?
months.
Oh, wow.
Because, you know, Ephraim they thought was going to be early. Like he had the steroid injections and was like all prepared for him to be delivered at like 30 weeks because, you know, at that point she was, you know, already 3 centimeters dilated, 90% of face. But then she kept the baby in there until term. It was crazy. But, you know, I think we were in and out of labor and delivery at least a dozen times
Wow.
with Ephraim.
Wow.
With Mal, it was just like, I'm having contractions, whatever. Until finally, you know, like, oh, you know, I'm actually having contractions. It's time to have a baby. And we made it to the hospital. And, you know, within, like, he was born within 5 minutes
Wow.
of pulling up to the ER lot. Like,
Wow.
the
That's
ER
good and
people were
bad
saying,
at
you
that,
can't
right?
leave your car here. And the labor and delivery nurse was saying, you need to just leave the car. Let it get towed.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
So that was fun.
Now, so you didn't have to do the family medical leave stuff?
I did have to do the family medical leave stuff. You have to do that if you're going to be out for 4 weeks or more, regardless.
But the sick bank time is not the family medical leave?
No, it's a different thing. But you have to be out for that period of time and then not have any time left before you can accrue sick bank time. But the FMLA is completely separate. You have to fill that out regardless, because if you're out for 4 or more weeks, that's sort of like what guarantees that you have a position to come back to.
The family medical
Mhm.
leave.
It doesn't guarantee you get paid. It just guarantees that you have a position.
But the
to
sick
Okay.
bank allows you to get paid.
Mhm.
Okay.
So first I use all my vacation, then all my personal time, then all my sick time, then use sick leave bank time.
Okay, that's good.
And then I
So
won't have any time off until
Yeah.
next July.
So enjoy
Awfully risky.
that rest.
you know.
Oh, my God.
But I've donated a lot to the sick leave bank too, so. I
Yeah.
mean, that's, I guess,
Well,
what it's
yeah,
there
that's
for,
the whole
so.
Right,
point,
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get to be able to use it. Okay, good.
In other business, there was one other thing I wanted to say, but I don't remember what it was, so it obviously wasn't very important. Poison ivy. Talk about that before the meeting started.
Yep.
Mosquito spray.
No, that's not on the agenda.
So I guess our other question is, what do we want to do about the September 24th meeting?
Well, I think meeting at least for Oktoberfest.
Yeah.
And just do it like a regular meeting, but.
Yeah, and
have
then
an
we'll have
agenda
the
like
minutes.
this. Yeah.
And we'll
We
approve
can approve
those.
the minutes, but no director's report.
Well, unless Deb wants to do something with that.
Deb doesn't want to do anything.
I
like
don't
that.
think she does.
Um,
Does she wanna
She
come?
wants to. Do y'all want her
She
to?
could just come
I mean,
talk to us if she
no.
wants.
But,
If
you know, then
it
you
might
put, we put her
conflict
in
with
a
the
spot
program.
because she won't
That's
know
true.
anything. So
Mhm.
she knows the, doing the payroll and
Mhm.
Yeah,
the invoices, but,
I just don't know if we need her about Oktoberfest questions. I can't imagine
no.
that much to tie her
No,
up for.
she doesn't.
Yeah, all right, so.
No,
we'll
the staff just
one-
keeps the library open during Oktoberfest. That's,
Yeah, okay.
Is there any more donations in your jar?
I haven't looked, so I don't know. Gail probably knows.
Right.
Oh, the other thing is we are gonna have like, so we have the Central Massachusetts Library Advocates, and there is gonna be an annual meeting of that, coming up in September. I didn't write down the information because I can't go. But trustees and friends and whatnot are invited if you want to go to the CMLA meeting. I'll email that out. I'm gonna add that to my list.
I think I see it written on the calendar.
Oh, wasn't there another trustee thing that?
There was one
Oh,
at
yeah,
like
yeah,
the
in November.
Springfield,
Yeah.
or somewhere kind of
It's,
local.
it's the.
Shrewsbury, I
Massville-
think, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was
Mhm.
Shrewsbury, yeah.
Don't they have a new library, or is that a new high school?
It's that they have a new
Or
library.
both.
Probably both.
Probably both.
What, a new librarian?
No new library,
Yeah.
new-ish. I mean,
Because she's
2
a really
years ago.
good librarian. Whose name I can't remember, but.
Was that just the trustees
Yeah, that was the,
annual meeting, or
Yeah.
whatever they call it?
Library trustees annual meeting, how's that, I've got it on there.
See?
November 16th in Shrewsbury. Saturday, but it's like, looks like it's all day, right?
yeah.
I hope for that.
Yeah, we started the Blackstone Valley Libraries, and now there's the Central Massachusetts Library, this
Advocates.
Advocates, not association, CMLA, which is kind of a bigger version. And now there's going to be an even smaller version because we're having a meeting of just Route 146 library directors.
How many is that? I have to think. How many are there?
I
Forgetting.
Grafton?
Millbury.
Yeah, it's us, Millbury, Grafton, Whitensville,
Sutton?
Oxbridge.
Sutton, and
Uxbridge,
maybe
yeah.
Uxbridge.
I don't know, Oxford.
I think there were only 5 people on the email.
Well,
Is Grafton
Oxbridge
though?
is,
Grafton
is
isn't on 146,
the
is
Dunkin'
it?
Donuts. Yeah, Grafton isn't really on 146,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
Oxbridge is.
But yeah, it's going to be an informal meeting in our new house's gazebo.
Awesome.
Unless we're in the process of having a baby, then it's going to be the Sutton Library Director's house.
It's like a pesky thing, right? You have to not know when everything's going on.
And we do have an internal posting right now. Isabel has resigned as a page because she's overcommitted. But I'm doing an internal posting because we're going to, Anastasia is going to apply for the position, and I don't expect anyone else to apply for the position. And
Okay.
she's been volunteering with us now for a year or more. So who all got invited is? Five Route 146 directors.
Well, you should have done
We
Oxbridge.
should have
It was
t-shirts.
Northbridge's idea.
And they're not hosting it. Who's the new director there? Who's the new director in Uxbridge?
Rebecca Sassful is the director in
Northbridge.
Northbridge, Whitensville,
Whitensville.
whatever. And is it Ann? Where is Millbury? Betsy Perry is Sutton. Deb Hinkle is Uxbridge. I'm not good with names. I'm better with faces, but all this cross-pollination of ideas.
I know.
Oh, and the children's librarians and youth services librarians and all the Blackstone Valley libraries are meeting now too.
Wow.
And
Well, that's
exchanging
good, I think.
ideas and whatnot. And
Yeah.
they actually met at our library on Monday morning. So I came to work and I was late because I needed to get a cake for a birthday and got there and all the children's librarians were in the basement. It's like, oh, hello guys.
Children's library.
If the cake's from us.
Yeah.
It's not for you.
That's cool. New England towns talking to each other.
Yeah, no, I like that.
What's gonna come next?
Next up, we'll be regionalizing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, are we good? Any
Yeah.
other old business? Next meeting, September 24th?
And it is, what time? 8.
41.
I was hoping for 8:30, but not bad.
Yeah, very
Better.
good. Good job.
Next one should be shorter.
Yeah.
Now we
All
can
right,
talk about
motion to
mosquitoes.
adjourn? Yeah. Motion to talk about mosquitoes? Standing vote?
Yeah, standing vote.